Okay. Four. The first words I say, I can't even say right. The four verses that we're reading are split up. Oh my gosh. A friend's wife, a master seamstress, made a loving plan before she passed away from a long illness. She donated all her sewing equipment to our town sewing guild, providing sewing machines, cutting tables, and more for classes, teaching newly arrived immigrants. I counted 28 boxes of fabric alone. Her husband told us 6 women came by to pick up everything. Their students are hard workers, eager to learn a skill. Others describe such newcomers in less flattering ways. The plight of immigrants has become a divisive issue. Moses, however, issued God's view. Do not oppress a foreigner. You yourselves know how it feels to be foreigners. He further shared God's decree regarding strangers. When you reap the harvest of your land, do not go over your vineyard or vineyard. I'm going to say it's vineyard. I don't care what anybody says. Do not go over it a second time or pick up the grapes that have fallen. Leave them for the poor and the foreigner. I am the Lord your God. God also declared, where a foreigner resides among you in your land, do not mistreat them. The foreigner residing among you must be treated as your native born. Love them as yourself, for you are foreigners in Egypt. I am the Lord your God. I sense you just read all 4 verses here. God set the standard. May He bless our hearts to show love to the strangers among us. I'm just gonna see something now. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus. That's too far. Oh! 19, okay. When you reap the harvest of your land, do not reap to the very edges of your field or gather in the cleanness of your harvest. Do not go over your vineyard at the same time or pick up the grapes that have fallen. Leave them for the poor and the foreigner. I am the Lord your God. And when a foreigner resides among you in your land, do not mistreat them. The foreigner residing among you must be treated as your native born. Love them as yourself, for you are foreigners in Egypt. I am the Lord your God. So yeah, I essentially read them in the daily bread thing. Midnight. Do I have Call of Duty 3? Probably not. No. Okay. Midnight! Oh, my finger! Alright. Yeah, first, before I do this, I'm gonna put my freaking phone on the charge. Ow. Brup, bellup. Yeah. I feel like these are all probably the same. Still, no, I'm not. Can you? I said X. Thank you. Yes. That's too low. Still too low. Still too low. Okay. That's not it. Okay. Come on. Thank you. Dang it. So close. Alright, so, okay, F is definitely going to be the issue for me. But, I want to see something else. I want to do, like, D. I don't think that's right, but it'll have to do. I can always do this, but this would be a bit more tricky to try to do. I don't know, F is gonna be a tricky one for me to do. been waiting, but no one asks why. And to none that he longs to play. Everyone runs, all run away. And they step his heart grows cold. Who's built will untold. Blue, oh blue, why do you chase through the halls? We run from your face, but behind those eyes there's been no truth. What's the story, dear blue? As monster they say, left and played. His word around, runs us onto playground. Oh, scream, I'm melting, I didn't dream. What's the story, dear blue? Kings. No matter what someone screams, and the heart inside, where the monster hard to find. Well, blue, why do you chase through the walls? Find those eyes, there's so true. What's the story, dear blue? I don't think I'm doing that right. Wait for words. Make it up. Take time. Blue will understand. Break their hands. Every part of birds that life. The blue deserves the night. One more. No, start off with F. That's not it. Let's count it for some reason. Alright, let's see here. Meow. Come on. Okay. I'm gonna open up Discord real quick before I switch everything over. I'm gonna like a little cup or something. So I don't know if I'm gonna like that or not. Care. Okay. Alright, YouTube Premium Lights, so we don't have to deal with no more stupid freaking.
5 levitations, all on tape. Georgia sleep levitation. So the story goes that a woman named Diane Crosby was staying with a female friend and began to notice that each morning when she awoke, she would be covered in strange bruises. In order to try to determine what was happening, she set up a camera to record herself sleeping. When she viewed the recording the next day, this is what she saw.
I think gotta be some kind of demon or something.
Shockingly, Diane discovered that the tape revealed that her body had mysteriously levitated above the bed at some point during the night. The TV show Factor Faked attempted to replicate Diane's strange nocturnal levitation, but trying to reproduce the footage turned out to be harder than they expected. The crew had to spend thousands of dollars to build a massive metal frame with a complicated system of levers, pulleys, and wires. And then, even after all that, they had to process the finished video with CGI software just to try to replicate the original video. The Levitating Shaman. In the late 1970s, a German film crew were producing a documentary on a remote African tribe. Legend had it that the shaman of the tribe could perform amazing magical feats, including levitation. The German documentary crew set up and began filming as the shaman performed his ritual. To their amazement, he was seemingly able to float over 2 to 3 feet in the air for several minutes. He then collapsed to the ground from exhaustion. Despite there being 2 cameras filming the shaman from different angles, the documentary filmmakers found no evidence of wires or harnesses that could be used to lift the shaman so high in the air. Dynamo. Dynamo is the performing name for English magician Stephen Frame. Dynamo is best known for his television series Dynamo, Magician Impossible, where levitation and illusions have become a common staple of the magician's bag of tricks. Dynamo has performed multiple unexplained illusions, including levitating in front of the world-famous statue of Jesus in Rio de Janeiro, and levitating against the side of a moving bus for a promotional series for Pepsi Max. And perhaps the most amazing levitation illusion ever performed, Dynamo levitated from the top of the building The Shard in London, which is the tallest building in the UK.
You're crazy, man.
First, critics called the trick a colossal fail, after the magician tweeted out a picture of the illusion a few days before it was scheduled to air. In the picture, close observers could clearly spot wires holding the magician in place. Or so they thought. Days later, when Dynamo's final TV show aired, the show included footage of Dynamo actually adding the fake wires into his own picture in Photoshop. And a dramatic twist on his own trick, he had actually managed to fool people into believing that he had done the trick with wires. A feat that likely would have been impossible considering that Dynamo actually seems to not only levitate to the top of the shard building, but continues to rise high above the structure where wires couldn't reach. To this day, no one knows exactly how Dynamo performed his amazing levitation trick.
That's just crazy,
One
man.
thing is certain, it wasn't with the aid of his photoshopped wires. The infilled levitations. The infilled haunting is perhaps one of the most famous hauntings in history. The case has been the subject of several books and documentaries. The infilled haunting gained national attention when it was investigated by famous paranormal researchers Ed and Lorraine Warren. This investigation later became the plot for the popular horror film The Conjuring 2. Now, one of the most famous photos from the infilled haunting is that of 11-year-old Janet Hodgson supposedly levitating above her bed. Many have dismissed the photo as simply a picture of the girl jumping from her bed and caught midair on film. However, multiple witnesses have claimed that Janet's levitations were a common occurrence, and that they themselves had been present and saw the levitations with their own eyes. What makes this case especially odd are the other supernatural phenomena that were recorded in the books. Parapsychologist Maurice Grosse conducted experiments where a lamp was repeatedly ripped from its wall socket and thrown across the room by some mysterious force. At one point, one of Janet Hodgson's shoes was seemingly thrown at him as he tried to leave. 2 English policemen reported witnessing a chair levitate 4 inches off the ground and move down the hallway right in front of their eyes.
It came off the floor, or nearly a ½ inch, I should say, and I saw it slide off to the right, about 3.5 to 4 feet before it came to rest. I checked to see whether or not it could possibly have slid along the floor. I placed a marble on the floor to see whether or not the marble would go in the same direction as the chair did, and it didn't roll at all. I checked for wires under the cushion of the chair, and I could find no explanation at all.
And perhaps strangest of all, Janet Hodgson would often speak in the voice of a spirit she called Bill. Now keep in mind that the audio that you're about to hear is the recording of an 11-year-old girl speaking on tape.
I want you to tell me whether you remember what happened to you when you died. Just before you died and just after you died.
Well,
days before I died, I went blind. Then I had an hemorrhage, and I fell asleep, and I died in a chair in the corner downstairs.
Levitating monk. In the Discovery show The Supernaturalist, Dan White, a magician, traveled to exotic locations around the world to try to discover if any, quote, real magic, end quote, existed. White had heard stories that there was a Buddhist monk deep in the Himalayan mountains who was rumored to be able to reach a meditative state in which he could actually make himself levitate. The monastery where the monk resided was located in a remote area, miles into the Himalayan mountains, only reachable by airplane, and then an additional 2-day hike deeper into the heart of mountain terrain.
that would be
Eventually, Dan
crazy.
White found the reclusive monk and managed to convince him to try to levitate in front of their camera. The monk began to chant quietly to himself. Then suddenly, as the cameras rolled, he rose from the ground below and floated over a foot in the air for almost a minute, before slowly descending. The host of the show, Dan White, a magician for over 20 years, could not explain how the monk had seemingly been able to make himself levitate right before their eyes.
Wow. There's wires. I didn't see anything. This is crazy.
That's interesting.
People with real superpowers. Ben Underwood, human sonar. Ben Underwood was a young man from Sacramento,
Ew.
California, who was born with a rare form of eye cancer. Tragically, in order to prevent the cancer from spreading to his brain, doctors had to remove both of his eyes at the early age of only 2 years old. Astonishingly, Ben Underwood soon started developing the ability to, quote, see by using sound. Ben mastered an amazing talent to use echolocation,
Uh-oh.
a technique similar to
Well, I don't
the
like
one
that.
used by bats to navigate in the darkness. Starting at age 7, Ben began making a clicking sound with his mouth.
That's
Using
crazy.
only this sound as it bounced off objects around him like a sonar, he could get around so well that
Like
he
a
didn't
location.
need a guide dog or cane to walk around in unfamiliar spaces. In
Wow.
fact, Ben Underwood was so capable of moving around with his strange sonar ability that he was able to rollerblade, ride a bike, skateboard, and even play basketball and football. Ben had somehow retrained his brain
Wow.
to develop his amazing ability of sonar sight.
That's crazy. That's actually pretty cool.
Ben Underwood died in 2009 at
Aw.
the age of 16 from a recurrence of the same cancer that had claimed his sight. He still
Aw.
remains the most amazing example of all time of a human being being able to use sonar to navigate their surroundings. Wim Hof, the Iceman. Wim Hof of the Netherlands is also known as the Iceman because of his amazing ability to withstand extremes of cold that would normally cause serious physical injury or even death for the average man.
Wow.
Wim Hof has broken the Guinness World Record for ice endurance 4 times, spending an amazing 1 hour and 50 minutes buried up to
Okay, okay, unless he probably beat it himself, like beat his own records each
his
time.
head in a freezing cold ice bath. He's also performed other amazing feats like running a 26-mile marathon in temperatures over 20 degrees below freezing, wearing
Wow.
a pair of running shorts. When the TV show Fact or Fake
Wow.
tried to debunk Wim Hof's strange ability, they pitted a team member against Hof in an ice bath challenge. The Fact or Fake team member lasted only 20 minutes in the ice bath, while Hof lasted over 90 minutes in the freezing water.
Wow.
The Fact or Fake team judged Wim Hof's amazing ability to withstand cold temperatures to be 100% fact.
Wim Hof, paranormal, fact.
Liam Hoekstra, super
Wow.
strength. Little Liam Hoekstra has been called the strongest toddler in the world. His parents first noticed Liam's amazing strength when he began to walk at only 5 months old. For reference, most toddlers don't walk until around 15 months. By 6 months old, Liam Hoekstra could already climb the stairs in his family home. Turns out Liam was born with a rare genetic condition called myostatin-related muscle hypertrophy. In layman's terms, what that means is that Liam's body can build muscle incredibly fast. His muscle mass and skeletal structure build rapidly without causing any adverse side effects to the rest of his body.
That's neat.
Scientific tests performed on Liam Hoekstra at age 3 showed that he had over 3 times the strength of an average 3-year-old. In fact, Liam's strength ratings were off the charts, showing that he was about as strong as the average 7-year-old boy and could perform feats of strength that other children his age couldn't even attempt. Raj Mohan Nair,
Okay.
electricity man. Mohan Nair claims to have the amazing ability to pass deadly levels of electric current through his body. While only 1/10 of an amp of electric current is enough to cause skin burns and stop the human heart of the average person, Mohan has repeatedly demonstrated an ability to pass up to 60 times that amount of electricity through his body without causing any physical damage. Tests on Mohan have shown that he possesses an abnormal physiology, and that his body shows higher than normal resistance to electric current. No one knows why Mohan Nair can not only withstand such high levels of electricity, but can actually pass the current through his body. His unusual ability has earned him the nickname Mohan the Electricity Man, or Current Mohan.
That's crazy.
Nangyo Sui, Night Vision. Nangyo Sui is a young Chinese boy with strikingly odd blue eyes who lives in China's Guangxi province. His parents became concerned when the boy complained that the afternoon sun was too bright for him, and that his vision became blurry when the light was too bright. An eye specialist visited the boy in his home village to conduct various eye tests to determine the problem. He could not explain what he found. When the optician shined a light into the boy's eyes, he found that they emitted a strange glow, similar to a cat's eyes. Even more astonishing, the boy seemed to be able to actually see in the dark. Once word of Nang Yo Sui's strange ability got out, reporters came from across the country, all trying to disprove the amazing claim that the young boy could see in the dark. They first placed Nang in a dark room, and they showed him various playing cards. They found that the boy could easily read each card in the dark. So to make the test harder, the reporters then gave Nang a series of written questions that he had to not only read in the dark, but write in his answers in the spaces provided. Again, the boy completed all of the questions with ease. He had passed all of their tests.
That's crazy.
In China, Nang Yo Sui has earned the nickname Cat Boy because of his strange ability to seemingly see in the dark.
Okay, okay. Not too bad, not too bad. These are some short videos.
Called on surveillance video or CCTV. Paranormal creature caught on camera. The woman who recorded this video claimed that she had been repeatedly startled awake by strange, unexplained noises in her bedroom at night. To try to determine the cause of the strange sounds, she decided to set up a camera as she slept. This is what she found when she reviewed the tape the next day. The couple have no pets, but the video looks almost like some sort of animal or small creature jumping onto the bed, laying briefly next to the woman's face, and then jumping down at a strange backwards trajectory.
Unless that was reversed, I don't know. It's interesting.
Shadow ghost hit by a car. A surveillance camera in the parking lot of a Malaysian hotel captures a strange ghostly encounter. Two men are driving through the parking lot when a mysterious shadow figure darts in front of their car. They slam on their brakes and get out to investigate, but they find nothing. The mysterious shadow has vanished into thin air.
Ooh.
The hotel room ghost. Now, I've put this clip in another video a long time ago, but I feel like I would be remiss if I didn't include this incident in a countdown of the creepiest ghost clips caught on CCTV. So here it is for those of you who haven't seen it. The security team at the Wingate Hotel get called to one of the rooms due to multiple reports by hotel guests of someone screaming inside one of the rooms. Creepiest of all, the room has not been booked for the night, so no one is supposed to be inside.
It's definitely a creepy one. And you just watch like right here. Right there. And then
The screams go quiet as the security guard enters. Eventually we see a chilling disembodied shape that seems to exit the room. The security guard reports that all of the furniture in the room has been turned upside down, but the room is empty.
the year I was born, 2003.
Disappearing woman. In Bogota, Colombia, a network news station reports the appearance, or rather the disappearance, of a woman captured on two different surveillance cameras.
Huh?
What makes this video especially interesting is that it was captured on two separate CCTV cameras at two different angles. Experts claim that the clothing worn by the woman is in a style that was popular in the area over 100 years ago.
That's interesting. Completely gone.
Mexico City intersection ghost. On September 18th at 2:20 a.m. in the morning, CCTV cameras covering a busy intersection in Mexico City seem to capture what appears to be the ghost of a young girl appearing in the middle of a busy intersection.
Busy? That's not busy.
As in the Bogota video, what truly makes this footage interesting is that the supposed apparition is caught from multiple angles and can be seen from 3 different CCTV cameras at the exact same time. Top 5 scary clown sightings. Cemetery clown.
Why?
Julia Graham and her husband were driving by the Ravenswood Cemetery in Chicago, Illinois around 10 p.m. and they noticed something truly chilling. They see a clown run toward the 7-foot-tall spiked cemetery gate and climb over. Julia Graham managed to grab her phone and quickly snap a picture of the clown as he scaled the cemetery gate. The couple then circled back around for another look, focusing their headlights toward the cemetery gates as Julia begins filming. Sure enough, the clown was now inside the locked cemetery gates, staring back at them.
No.
Wave at them as Julia films.
Go away.
Suddenly, without warning, the clown turns and runs off into the darkness of the closed cemetery. Workers at the Ravenswood Cemetery found the clown footage unnerving, but they say they have not seen or received any complaints of vandalism on the cemetery grounds. Michigan clown hit and run. Social media is overrun with video posts of people who claim to have been chased or threatened by scary clowns while driving in their cars. One of the most common comments on these videos goes something along the lines of, "Hey, if that was me, I would have just run over that clown." Well, in one video, a group of teens in Michigan supposedly has an encounter with a scary clown, and they do just that. They run over the clown when he attacks their car.
Hey, what are you doing? No, fuck off.
Wow.
Believe it or not, the creepy clown phenomenon is nothing new.
Oh.
In fact, no list of creepy clown sightings would be complete without mentioning the Jacksonville clown. A series
man.
of strange clown sightings that occurred in a neighborhood in Jacksonville, Florida, 2 years ago, around this same time of year. Jacksonville clowns would approach private homes late into the night, entering the security gates, and seemingly aware that they were being recorded by the house's security system. Clowns would either simply stand watching the house, or the camera. Actually make threatening gestures toward the security camera, sometimes even destroying Halloween decorations.
Wow. That is freaking terrifying.
Although the multiple acts of trespassing and vandalism were reported to police, no arrests were ever made. To this day, no one knows the identity of the Jacksonville clowns. Sparks Clown. A group of friends in Sparks, Nevada were on the way to the store when one of them spotted what appeared to be a clown near the Reed High School softball field. The group doubles back to check out the strange sight of it. They get more than they bargained for when they find out that the strange figure is not only dressed in a bizarre clown outfit, but he's also carrying a machete.
Hey, what are you doing? Yo, that's a fucking machete. That has to be a fucking machete. He's not doing anything. He's just fucking standing there looking at us.
At first, the group doesn't take the situation serious.
Yo, just fucking standing.
They begin to taunt the clown, who remains motionless. When the clown reacts, they all run for their lives back to their car. Clown disappears back into the darkness of the softball field.
You won't catch me dead
Parks and Nevada
going near a
police
clown like
say
that.
They received multiple calls about a strange armed man dressed as a clown that night. However, no arrests were ever made.
Dude, fuck that.
Please just don't do the work. All they're worried about is people who speed or whatnot.
A rash of creepy clown sightings in the Topeka, Kansas area. Sometime in the middle of the night, a couple in Topeka, Kansas is startled awake by someone ringing their doorbell. The doorbell only rings once. They assume the late night interruption must just be some local kids playing a prank. They don't go to the door. However, the next day when the couple reviews their front door surveillance footage, they are terrified by what they find. The footage reveals a strange disheveled clown staring aimlessly at their doorway while holding a machete in his hand. The clown rings the doorbell and seems to either run away or possibly hide outside the doorway. As I mentioned previously, the couple never answered the door, but it leaves one to wonder what might have happened if they had answered the door that night.
Yeah, that's not a good thought to have.
Shadow person. This first video is actually pretty old, but this is a rare case where the video's age makes it seem much more realistic. This video was filmed in Moorpark, California in September 1989. Keep in mind as you watch that there were no consumer-level video effects programs even invented until the early 1990s. In the film, we see what paranormal investigators call a black mass or shadow person. It appears in a corner of a bedroom and can later be seen reflected in the dresser mirror. Many paranormal experts have dubbed this video the most convincing paranormal video ever recorded.
Okay. Well, that was it.
This next clip takes place at the school hospital Universitario in Honduras. The story goes that a doctor killed himself in the small teaching hospital many years ago, and supposedly his ghost still haunts the halls. One dark night, a medical student who was working late began hearing strange sounds from one of the hallways. He caught this on video.
Oh, midnight. Ah. I don't think so.
Ghosts can often be heard roaming the halls of the hospital late at night, and sometimes flicks the lights on and off in patients' rooms. The Savannah Cemetery Ghost. The city.
Oh my.
The Covered Ghost.
Okay.
Ben Ivy was recording a tutorial video for his college illustration class, and something odd happens behind him.
That you put your effort into not only the illustrations that you've done, but also showing them that you care about your artwork. Some of the materials that you'll need to create a cover sheet are, of course, you'll need some scissors, you'll need some tape. I like to use the thick masking tape. You'll need some double-sided tape to put your image onto a mat board. You'll need of course, your image and mat board and a large piece of paper. Once you have your image mounted to the mat board, take your large piece of paper and place it over the image itself. You'll want to cut the paper so that it's slightly longer than the mat board your artwork is mounted to.
Oh, okay. I feel like that's real.
The thing that makes Ben Ivy's ghost clip seem more believable than most is the fact that Ben is by no means a paranormal investigator or ghost hunter of any kind. In fact, all of Ben's other videos are related to art tutorials, family life, and occasional vlogging. Over the entire 10 years that Ben Ivy has been on YouTube, this is the only ghost or paranormal video that Ben has ever posted.
Ghost in the Hood.
Ghost in the Hood. Oh. Okay, this next video is very creepy, but also laugh out loud funny, which is a rare combination. Since this top 5 was intended to be a countdown of scary ghost sightings, and not funny ghost sightings, I couldn't decide where to place this clip in the list. So, in the end, I decided that the reaction of the two witnesses made this one of the strangest supposed ghost videos I've ever seen.
Get your claws out of my freaking...
Just had to give it the #1 spot.
I've been recording the whole time. Yo, me and Eon seen this bitch walking through the cemetery.
Blowing it,
running through the cemetery and landed on a fucking tombstone.
Yeah, she was blowing it. She was blowing it.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, what you doing, girl?
Yo, that shit is creepy as...
What the fuck?
What happened?
What the fuck is she doing?
Why she touching other people's graves?
Yo, she just bust her head on the other grave, though.
Did she?
She got on no shoes, bro.
What she just grabbed?
A flower. She just grabbed a flower.
You be watching a fucking ghost. Hold up, don't say that to her. I'm scared as shit, cause what if she know you live, nigga? She from cemetery,
Shoot that bitch.
Nigga, this bitch is crazy.
Yo,
What the fuck?
Yo, where the blunt at? Pass the blunt. Pass the fucking blunt. I cannot. She was blowing it. Did you see how she tripped over that tombstone?
She landed on a tombstone.
On her head. And she planned this. Yo!
There's no way in fuck she playing this, Boogie.
Yo!
She ain't answering nobody. She ain't look at us.
The girl the whole way!
Yo, girl in the hallway.
You scaring me! You really scaring me! You scaring the shit out of me!
Oh my gosh.
You scaring the shit out of me! Go home! Go home!
Yo, Boogie, she gonna come back and she gonna be sitting right in front of your house, nigga. And I'm gonna pop that bitch. Yo, she ran through the cemetery and was walking.
Yo, I wish I still had that BB.
Yo, you gotta let her go. Maybe she's like hurt or
Why
something.
was she running that fast though?
But why she just stopped and take
Why she
someone
got
else?
all
She
white?
took someone else's flower, nigga, from
Look,
there.
she's swinging it. She's having fun, B. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go karate kick this bitch.
Yo, this is the creepiest shit that I've
Oh my
ever
gosh.
seen in my life.
My nigga, yo, bitches had a picnic in there the other day.
Fuck a picnic, nigga. She has on all white and she's running and jumping on people's tombstones. Bitch!
You the crazy bitch!
Oh my gosh.
She's jumping on people's tombstones.
Wow.
Oh,
my God.
she's spinning this shit? Nah.
World star.
World star. Where'd she go?
World star.
Where'd she go? She disappeared. Hold on, she went behind the tombstone. She went behind that tombstone right there, that big one. Yo, Mo. Yo, Mo, she's gone, Mo. Yo, Mo, she's gone.
It's stuff like this that makes these videos are a whole lot better.
Camera like this. Take that. I'm holding this camera until she come out from behind that fucking tombstone.
Yo, she's not coming back.
Nigga, she's gone. Where the fuck did she go? We watched her walk behind the tombstone and she's gone. Where you go, bitch? Where you go, bitch? Yo? Who is that? Boogie, where the fuck did she go? She went behind that tombstone right there. I'm looking.
It's like a boogie.
On the tombstone
Boogeyman.
I see when she went. No, nigga, she went behind the fucking tombstone. That one. God damn it, I can't even point out which one, nigga. I'm gonna try to point out. It's that one. If you can see where my finger's at, she went behind that tombstone right there, right in front of my finger. Nigga, she went behind the tombstone and she's gone, nigga. Nigga, fuck that. I'm done. I'm done. I'll record again when this bitch comes back out from behind the tombstone.
She never appeared.
Be sure to
Wow.
give your opinion of what you thought of each video down in the comments below.
I do think that one though with the guy who's talking about the art, I feel like that one's real. Like his reaction and everything, like that jump, like if it was planned, that's one heck of a way to do it.
Top 5 mysterious events caught on video. Lost in Colorado. On August 10th, 1984, James Cadell set out on a trip in his private plane from Granby, Colorado to Jeffby, Colorado. Accompanying him was his friend Ronald Willman. The plane disappeared somewhere along its journey and was never found. On August 27th, 1987, over 3 years later, a 14-year-old hiker stumbled upon the charred wreckage of the plane in Colorado's Rocky Mountains. The plane's pilot and passenger were long dead. When authorities searched the crash site, they found a heavily damaged VHS tape from a camera that had been mounted in the plane's cockpit. The video was nearly destroyed, and parts of the tape were actually found hanging from tree branches. Somehow, authorities managed to reconstruct the damaged video. They found frightening footage of the plane's final moments.
This is it going down, isn't it?
Damn, hang on, right!
At the time of the crash, the pilot, James Cadell, had no experience flying over mountainous terrain. Experts have noted that James can be seen in the footage flying too low over the tree line, and that the plane can be heard stalling as he tries to pull the throttle up too much to avoid the nearby mountains.
Damn, hang on, right!
Photographer captures his own death.
Oh, what?
In July 2013, it was believed that ousted Egyptian President Mohamed Morsi was being held inside the Republican Guard building in Cairo, Egypt. A large group of pro-Morsi protesters had gathered outside. Suddenly, snipers from the roof of the Egyptian Republican Guard building opened fire on the crowd. Freelance photographer Ahmed El Sanusi was filming the violence.
This is crazy.
Later, after the gunfire had ended, at least 51 people lay dead.
Wow.
When the corpses were removed, Ahmed El Sanusi's dead body was found among the victims. Near him lay his camera. Later, when the footage Ahmed had recorded was examined, it was found that Ahmed had actually filmed the very moment of his death, as we see a sniper take aim at him and fire. The camera goes dark, destroyed by the sniper's shot. Ghost man vandalism.
That's just bad.
For 7 months, a woman in China was besieged by attacks of disgusting vandalism to her apartment door. The culprit repeatedly smeared human feces and urine on the entryway to her apartment.
Ew. Why?
She was also left notes accusing her of, quote, interfering with another person's family. After months of this disgusting vandalism, she set up a series of CCTV cameras to monitor her front door. Eventually, this is what she found. After an investigation, a 42-year-old man captured on one video without his strange mask was arrested in association with the attacks.
The night!
Creepy home intruder.
Stop with your
One late
claws.
night, Jack McArcher and his girlfriend Jordan fell asleep on their couch watching the TV show Mr. Robot. Little did they know that someone had broken into their house and was creeping around upstairs. Later the next day, Jordan couldn't find her purse. Her boyfriend Jack was sure that he had seen her with the purse earlier the previous day. They decided to review their home security cameras in hopes of locating her purse. They were horrified by what they found. In the footage, a man can be seen watching the couple sleep on the couch from the stairs above them.
No thanks.
He remains there, eerily staring at the sleeping couple for almost 15 minutes. Then he leaves. The same man had been captured on neighborhood security cameras checking for unlocked doors in the neighborhood the same night. To this day, the home intruder has not been found.
What?
BGC execution.
Should be
A
caught.
lost cell phone is found left in the back of a taxi in Fiji. A college student finds the phone and begins to look through it to try to determine the phone's owner. He is shocked by what he actually finds. On the phone, there is an over 10-minute long video. The video shows 4 large tuna fishing boats somewhere on the open seas. The 4 vessels are surrounding one small boat that is overturned with several unarmed men floating in the water. Then the video turns truly gruesome as someone begins firing a gun at the men in the water, executing them
Why?
one by one as the camera rolls. It is estimated that over 40 rounds were fired from an automatic weapon at the men until all of them were left dead, floating in the ocean. After the grisly execution-style slaying, men on the boat can be seen posing and taking selfies as they celebrate their kill. Despite the fact that the video shows dozens of witnesses on 4 different ships, the victims have never been identified, and neither have their murderers.
Wow. That's bizarre, man. Seeing that things that people do for fun. That's just bizarre, man.
The creepy stories behind your favorite Disney films. Disney has a long history of translating fairy tales into popular animated movies about happy princes and princesses. In the end, the Disney villain receives some just punishment, and the prince and princess live happily ever after. Well, sometimes Disney makes drastic changes to the original fairy tales, because the truth is, the original fairy tales can get downright creepy.
Yeah.
The Little Mermaid. So in the Disney version of The Little Mermaid, Ariel makes a deal with a sea witch to give up her voice in order to become human for 3 days to pursue a prince she's fallen in love with. If things don't work out, she turns back into a mermaid. But of course it's Disney, so in the end everything pretty much works out great, and Ariel and the prince live happily ever after. Well, that's not quite how it went in the original fairy tale that the movie was based on. Danish author Hans Christian Andersen, who wrote the story, wasn't really a happily ever after kind of guy. In the real story of The Little Mermaid, Ariel literally gives up her tongue in exchange for her new set of human legs. And as an added bonus, every step she takes on her new legs feels like she's walking on broken glass. Even worse, if the prince doesn't marry her, she'll die and turn into sea foam. Because you see, in the real version of the story, mermaids don't have souls like human beings do, and therefore she can't go to heaven. So Ariel meets the prince and dances to try to impress him, even though every move she makes causes her excruciating pain. In the end, though, the prince dumps the Little Mermaid and marries someone else.
Wow.
Ariel has one option given to her by the Sea Witch. if she kills the prince and lets his blood drip on her feet, she can become a mermaid again. But in the end, Ariel can't go through with it, so she throws herself into the ocean and becomes Seafoam.
Wow.
Sleeping Beauty.
That is
In the
pretty
Disney
dang
version
dark.
of Sleeping Beauty, Princess Aurora meets a handsome prince and falls in love. But because of a curse placed on her by an evil sorceress, she falls into a deep sleep, from which she can only be awakened by a kiss from her prince. Well, that's not quite the way the original story of Sleeping Beauty goes. Princess never meets her prince, but instead is found by a strange married king who sneaks in through a window. The king has his way with Sleeping Beauty while she's still completely unconscious, and then 9 months later, Beauty gives birth to twins and wakes up. So eventually
Wow.
the creepy king returns, and somehow the king and Sleeping Beauty fall in love. Well, the king's wife, the queen, finds out about all this, and needless to say, she isn't too happy. The queen tries to have the twins killed and cooked up in a dish, and then served to the king.
Oh my
without him
gosh!
knowing. She then tries to burn Sleeping Beauty at the stake, but the queen fails. The palace cook saves the kids from becoming toddler pudding, and the king stops her from burning Sleeping Beauty.
Oh my
Instead,
gosh,
the king
that is
burns the queen alive,
dark as heck.
and then he marries Sleeping Beauty. Frozen. The Disney film Frozen is about two sisters, one of whom, Princess Elsa, turns everything she touches into ice. She can't control her powers and decides to leave the kingdom. I think everyone pretty much knows the story of Frozen by now, so I don't think any further summary is needed here. Well, the original story that Frozen is based on is called The Snow Queen. It's actually about two childhood friends, a little boy named Kay and a little girl named Gerda. The character that Princess Elsa is based on in the Disney version of Frozen is actually the evil Snow Queen in the original fairy tale. So the story goes that one day the evil Snow Queen steals away the little boy Kay by kissing him twice. One kiss numbs him to the cold, and the second kiss makes him forget all about his friend Gerda and his family. Snow Queen imprisons the boy in her castle, but eventually Gerda finds him and hugs him, weeping warm tears as they embrace. Gerda's tears magically cure the boy. He remembers everything, and they escape the evil Snow Queen's castle. So, kind of a happy ending. Plus, no one sings a single song. Cinderella.
So that wasn't too
Disney's version
dark.
of Cinderella. Cinderella is a poor girl with an evil stepmother and two wicked stepsisters. She has a fairy godmother who casts a spell that gives her a beautiful dress and carriage so that she can attend the royal ball. There Cinderella meets Prince Charming, and he falls in love with her. Unfortunately, Cinderella's magical dress turns back into rags at midnight, so she has to run away, leaving behind one of her glass slippers. The Grand Duke takes the slipper and tries the shoe on every girl in the kingdom. He eventually finds Cinderella, and she and the prince marry and live happily ever after.
So where's the
The original tale of Cinderella by the Brothers Grimm is similar, but Disney left out some very grisly details. In the story, the prince himself travels around the kingdom to find the girl who fits into the slipper. In a desperate attempt to fit into the glass slipper,
I remember
one of Cinderella's
this.
evil stepsisters cuts off her toes, and the other stepsister cuts off her heel. But
Yeah, I
the
remember
prince
this
sees
actually.
through their tricks when he notices that the slipper is now kind of a bloody mess. So eventually, the prince does find
Ugh.
Cinderella. She tries on the shoe that apparently only fits her, and they arrange their wedding. Cinderella's two wicked stepsisters attend, trying to gain favor with Cinderella since she will now be the princess of the kingdom, but that doesn't quite work out for them, because at the wedding, some birds fly down and peck out the stepsisters' eyes.
Oh
leaving
my
them
gosh.
blind. Beauty
Wow.
and the Beast. In the Disney version of Beauty
I
and the
remember
Beast,
that one.
Maurice, Beauty's father, becomes lost in the woods and seeks shelter inside an old castle. Turns out the castle belongs to the Beast, and he's not too happy about the home invasion. So he throws Maurice in the dungeon. Maurice's daughter Belle, aka Beauty, comes looking for her father and finds him locked in the Beast's castle. She makes a deal with the Beast that if he releases her father, she'll take his place. So Belle stays with the Beast, who is shown to often be very angry and moody towards Belle, sometimes even downright frightening. But eventually the beast becomes calmer and kinder towards Belle, and the two realize that they're in love. Then poof, he turns into a handsome prince, and they live happily ever after. Now, there are several
So where's the
odd
twist?
differences between the Disney version and the original story. For one, in the original, the Beast, while remaining hidden in the shadows, actually welcomes Belle's father Maurice into his castle and provides him with food and lodging for the night. But then, as he is leaving, Maurice picks a rose from the castle garden to give to his daughter Belle. And for some reason, this just makes the Beast completely flip out. He tells Maurice that he's gonna kill him for picking the rose. Maurice pleads for his life and agrees to send one of his daughters back to live with the Beast if he'll just let him go. So Beauty comes back to live with the Beast, but unlike the Disney movie, the Beast doesn't treat her rudely at all. In fact, he gives her the run of the entire castle and presents her with glamorous clothes,
Okay, so this is not
gifts,
bad.
and amusements. They have dinner and long romantic conversations every single night. At the end of each night, the Beast professes his love for Beauty and asks her to marry him. However, Beauty always refuses his proposal, because even though she cares about the Beast as a friend, she just finds him too ugly to love as anything more.
Oh.
In the original story, Beauty has 3 brothers and 2 jealous, somewhat evil older sisters. At some point, Beauty begins to
that
miss
one
her
wasn't
family
too bad.
and
Wasn't
asks
too
the Beast if she can
dark.
go visit them. The Beast says that she can go as long as she returns within 7 days. When Beauty arrives at home, her sisters are immediately jealous of her expensive clothing and jewelry that the Beast has given her. So in a devious plot, the sisters pretend to cry and tell Beauty how much they've missed her, and convince her to stay a week longer than her agreement with the Beast. The jealous sisters are secretly hoping that this will anger the Beast so much that he will kill and eat Beauty. Eventually, Beauty returns to the castle, only to find the Beast almost dead, having
Oh.
starved himself for every day that Beauty did not return. Beauty kneels next to him, and while weeping, she tells him that she now realizes that she really does love him. So, the evil spell is broken, and the Beast turns back into a handsome prince. Beauty and the prince get married and live happily ever after.
Okay, so this
but
one.
remember Beauty's evil sisters? In another dark turn in the original story, the sisters get turned into stone so that they can remain in the castle every day as statues to witness Beauty's happiness.
Wow. Okay, so that part was a little dark, but Sleeping Beauty was that one. Well, not Sleeping Beauty. Beauty and the Beast. Like that one wasn't actually really that bad compared to the rest. Yeah, I'd say that wasn't too bad. And the Snow Queen wasn't that bad either. So probably the most dark one was probably the Little Mermaid. No, what was the other one? Sleeping Beauty, probably. I don't know. Anyways, next one. Scariest abandoned places. Wowza. Sorry.
The top 5 scariest abandoned places on Earth. Poveglia. Poveglia is a small island in northern Italy that has a strange history of death and insanity.
So
In the
weird.
Middle Ages, Poveglia was used as an isolated place to quarantine victims of the bubonic plague. It is estimated that over 100,000 people died a slow, horrible death on the island.
Oh.
Their bodies were piled into mass grave pits and burned. It has even been
Okay.
speculated that the very sick, but not quite dead, were sometimes shoveled into the pits as well, where they burned alive alongside the other bodies.
Oh, come on.
The locations of the graves are unmarked and unknown, so there are likely bones buried all across the
I
island.
guess it was a quicker death, I
As
guess.
if Poveglia's history weren't already creepy enough, in 1922 a poorly constructed insane asylum was built on Poveglia Island. The mentally ill of Venice were abandoned
That
at
was
the
that very smart.
asylum and left to die. Legend has it that in the 1930s, one of the asylum doctors went insane himself and began performing strange experiments on the asylum patients. The doctor later climbed to the top of the asylum's bell tower and jumped to his death. In the last decade, construction crews were called in to rebuild the decaying island hospital, but the construction project was suddenly abandoned without cause,
Okay.
Stories and rumors have circulated that the construction crews were scared away from the island by strange accidents during construction and frightening ghostly encounters. Today, the island remains abandoned. The Italian government prohibits anyone from visiting Poveglia Island.
Wow.
Pripyat, Ukraine.
This is the, okay, I've read about this one.
April
This is
26,
it's a radioactive
1986, Chernobyl reactor
wasteland.
number 4 went into full nuclear meltdown during a failed routine safety test. 31 workers died directly from the meltdown and the resulting radiation sickness. It was also estimated that the meltdown might have caused over 5,000 cases of cancer across Europe, and this number continues to grow to this day.
That's
Most affected
crazy.
by the Chernobyl nuclear meltdown were the citizens of the nearby town of Pripyat, Ukraine. Even though workers and Russian officials at the nuclear power plant knew immediately about the meltdown, the citizens of Pripyat were given absolutely no warning for 24 hours. Residents began to report severe headaches and cases of uncontrolled fits of coughing and vomiting blood. Finally, 24 hours later, the citizens of Pripyat were evacuated. They were told that the evacuation was not that serious and would only last 3 days, so they should only bring the bare essentials, leaving behind everything else. Turns out, the evacuation was quite a bit more severe, and the citizens were led to leave. The planned 3-day evacuation of Pripyat, Ukraine, has now continued for over 30 years. The city has been
it's been that long?
It is radioactively toxic. Current estimates state that the city will not be habitable again for another 180 to 320 years. Abandoned homes, hospitals, and schools still stand, with their contents left inside. Even an old abandoned amusement park still stands inside Pripyat. The ride's now overgrown with weeds and vegetation. Centralia, Pennsylvania. In 1962, the citizens of Centralia, Pennsylvania had a problem. It seems that the town garbage dump was full to the point of overflowing. Town council met and decided on a solution. Even though it was technically illegal under state law, they would burn the contents of the town dump in order to clear it out. Unfortunately, the town dump was located on top of an old abandoned coal mine.
I think I read about this.
With the coal
Or I was talking about
fuel,
this or something.
the fire began to burn out of control underneath the city of Centralia. Multiple attempts were made
People
to
just
put out
don't
the raging
think.
underground fire, but eventually it was considered a lost cause, and the town gave up. They just decided to continue living life as usual on top of a massive underground coal fire.
Well, no, if I'm not saying it's still burning.
Nearly 20 years, with the fire still raging uncontrolled. Then, in 1981, a 12-year-old boy was playing in his backyard with his cousin. Suddenly, a 4-foot wide, 150 feet deep sinkhole opened beneath his feet and almost swallowed him. His cousin grabbed his hand and pulled him from the hole, saving his life.
I seen smoke, and I thought I didn't want her, my grandmother, to go over near her because she's elderly, and I was worried about her, so I went over to see if it was the mine fire, and when I did, I just fell right through.
Emissions from the sinkhole were found to contain toxic levels of carbon monoxide. This incident brought national attention to the Centralia underground fire. Congress allocated over $42 million to relocate the residents of Centralia. Some people who had lived in the town their entire life refused to leave, despite the fact that toxic fumes and smoke were spewing from the ground, and even the highway through the town had become cracked and warped from the underground heat.
That's
the
crazy.
state declared eminent domain over the city of Centralia and evicted its few remaining residents. The fire under the city of Centralia has been burning over 50 years and still burns to this day.
Yeah.
Centralia is now deserted, but with 3 cemeteries in the small town, it is often said that the city is home to more dead people than living ones. There have been multiple ghost stories where tourists claim to see the apparitions of coal miners walking through the smoke from the many sinkholes and disappearing. There have even been reports of ghostly voices that can be heard telling visitors to, quote, leave this place.
No.
Pennsylvania was one of the inspirations for the Silent Hill video games and movie. Experts believe that the Centralia fire will continue to burn for over 250 years.
Jeez, how much goes down there?
Snake Island. The Ile de Camada Grunge, also known as Snake Island, is just off the coast of Brazil. It is known
Oh,
as one
midnight.
of the world's most dangerous islands. You see,
Hey.
the island is inhabited almost
Ow!
entirely by a species of large venomous
Ow!
snakes. These snakes, called the golden lancehead pit viper, are found only on
He
the
really needs
island.
to stop using his
They're some of
claws.
the most deadly snakes known to exist. The golden lancehead's venom is said to be 3 to 5 times stronger than that of any mainland snake, and is so toxic that
Dang.
it can actually melt human skin. The island
Oh!
is absolutely covered with snakes, in a higher concentration than anywhere else in the world. Official estimates state that one golden lancehead pit viper can be found for every square meter of the island. It is said that the last remaining human residents on Snake
Remind me
Island
never
were
to
the
go there.
lighthouse keeper, his wife, and their 3 children. One night, a window in the lighthouse was left open, and some of the lancehead pit vipers crawled inside. The lighthouse keeper and his family tried to flee the lighthouse and make it to his boat. They were all bit multiple times as they tried to escape. Days later,
Wow.
the lighthouse keeper's boat was found still tied offshore. Inside the boat, the lighthouse keeper and his entire family were found dead.
Wow.
No one was willing to take the lighthouse keeper's place on Snake Island, and the abandoned lighthouse still sits empty to this day.
Well,
Sanji
I wouldn't either.
UFO houses. The Sanji UFO
Just-
houses
just-
were a
just
complex
destroy the
of
whole
oddly
island.
shaped houses constructed in New Taipei City, Taiwan in the late 1970s. The construction project was set.
This reminds me of a multiplayer map from Black Ops, I think. I think it's Black Ops. I think it's Black Ops 3. This is just what that reminds me of.
Had to be cursed from the start. You see, the developer chose to build the homes on what had once been the burial site for hundreds of Dutch soldiers. But then to make matters even worse,
Why is it always on top of burial
curses
grounds?
go, the construction company chose to split a sacred Chinese dragon sculpture in order to widen the road into the housing development. After that, everything
Why?
just seems to have gone downhill. During the construction of the homes, there were multiple fatal on-site accidents and even several suicides.
People are
At
idiots.
this time, the local population of New Taipei City widely regarded the entire area and the homes themselves as cursed by dark forces and spirits of the dead. So there wasn't really a lot of demand to purchase the homes.
No
The entire
problem.
project was abandoned.
I wouldn't doubt it.
The UFO houses were left empty. Then in 2010, the houses were torn down completely, with plans to build a new seaside resort in its place. As of today, the new seaside resort has never been built. And the site
Good.
of the Sanji UFO house
Ow!
remains eerily abandoned.
Midnight. Oh, excuse me. Five shocking fishing moments. Calling camera.
The top 5 shocking fishing moments caught on camera. Stolen catch.
What?
In Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, a woman named Sarah Brame was fishing from a small dock. She had just caught a 5-pound channel bass and was reeling it in when this happened.
What the?
Oh, Jesus Christ! It's
What shark was that?
Get it! Son of a bitch, it's a shark! Keep reeling! Keep reeling! Oh, I got that on camera!
Violent fish.
Holy moly, that shark came up out of
A
nowhere.
fisherman in Peru catches a giant arapaima fish. These fish can grow up to 3 meters or 9.8 feet and are only found in South America.
Wow.
The fisherman makes the
Everything's
very
bigger
bad
when
decision
South
to try to
America.
pull the giant fish into shore all by himself.
You idiot. Oh! Ho, ho, ho! Oh! Oh, did it break his nose?
The man is knocked unconscious and is left with a bloody nose and a split lip from the fish, but he is
Ooh.
otherwise unharmed. He made a full recovery.
Unharmed?
A hospital visit was necessary.
Got knocked out by a fish. That's that unharmed.
In Thailand, a fisher tries to release his small catch back into the river. But there was something much larger waiting just under the water's surface to catch him.
What a snake? Wow.
Hungry, hungry hippo.
Oh my.
It is a little known fact that most people killed by animals on the large continent of Africa are not killed by lions or tigers, but are actually killed by hippos. The hippo is considered the most dangerous animal to humans in all of Africa.
Wow.
A crew of American tourists are
What's a
traveling
fun
on Lake
fact?
Naivasha in Kenya when they begin to spot several roaming hippos in the water. They start
Oh.
joking about it, as they don't think they are in any serious danger. After spotting a particularly aggressive hippo, one man even says this.
Yeah, here he comes. Kill us all.
Unfortunately, he was almost right.
Chased by a hippo. Oh my.
Oh my gosh. Apparently hippos are not to be messed with. Good to know. Go away. Oh my gosh. Why are y'all tempting him?
The dog in the ocean. One day, Rory O'Connor is fishing from his kayak in the Gulf of Mexico, over half a mile offshore, when suddenly he sees a very unexpected creature swimming towards him in the sea. It's a medium-sized brown dog. The dog is hurt, bleeding, exhausted, and shivering in fear. Rory paddles his kayak back to shore and takes the dog to the vet. Turns out the dog's name is Barney, and there is actually a very sad story behind his long ocean swim. Barney's owner, Donna Chin, had taken him out for a jog that morning. Donna was hit by a drunk driver and killed.
Oh.
Barney was injured in the crash and in shock. Confused and hurt, Barney ran a mile from the accident to the nearby coastline, and for some reason, he just jumped into the ocean and began swimming. Luckily, Rory O'Connor happened to find Barney just in time. The dog had swam over a half a mile into the ocean, and likely would have drowned from exhaustion very soon. Barney has now been returned to his family, who report that the dog is still suffering from shock, but is slowly healing. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe to the channel, and also be sure to hit the
That is a
bell
sad
icon
story.
to turn on notifications. That way you're sure to be notified every time a new video is posted. So, see you again next time.
No, we didn't need a sad one to end that off with. Jeez.
Top 5 unsolved Christmas time mysteries.
Christmas time?
Los Feliz Murder Mansion. In December 1959, Dr. Harold Perelson suffered a violent...
Oh, those...
Took a hammer...
Those pictures were already creepy enough. You didn't have to do that.
Then, he almost beat his 18-year-old daughter to death as well. When his
Why?
two younger children woke up after hearing their screams, he calmly told them, "Nothing's wrong. Go back to bed." Dr. Perelson then retired to the bedroom, where he calmly finished a chapter of a book that he had been reading. After that, he poured himself a glass of acid and drank it, killing himself in a slow, painful death. But
Why?
believe it or not, this story gets even stranger. The Perelson house was purchased by a couple named Julian and Emily Enriquez.
Oh my gosh, why did they ever sell these things out?
Never lived in the home. In fact, for some odd reason, they never even changed a single thing, leaving the house exactly the way it was on the night of the murder-suicide. To this day, almost 60 years later, the Los Feliz murder mansion remains the same as it was on the night of the December 1959 murder. The
Wow.
house still contains its original 1950s furniture and appliances. There's even Christmas gift wrapping paper that had been left out after Mrs. Perelson had wrapped some Christmas presents shortly before her murder. The final Christmas celebration.
That's crazy,
December
man.
18th, a wealthy older woman in her mid-60s strolls into a Virginia cemetery called Pleasant Valley. She heads to the side of the graveyard's baby graves, a location labeled Babyland by the cemetery. She lays out a plastic tarp, sets up a Christmas tree near the graves, and decorates it with ornaments and ribbons. She then begins listening to several comedy recordings on her old-fashioned Walkman cassette player. While she relaxes near her newly decorated Christmas tree and listens to her tapes, she drinks brandy and swallows several Valium. She then puts a plastic bag over her head, tapes it closed with duct tape, and then proceeds to slowly suffocate herself to death.
Why?
When the woman's body is found, the police find a note that reads, quote, "Deceased by own hand. Prefer no autopsy. Please order cremation with funds provided. Thank you, Jane Doe." Along with the note, there are two $50 bills, one for the coroner's payment and one for the cemetery. The Warminster
That is crazy.
On Christmas Day in 1965, in the small English town of Warminster, a series of bizarre events began to occur. A woman walking to church for Christmas services was knocked to the ground by what she could only describe as an odd sound passing overhead. The so-called odd sound was reported that Christmas Day by multiple Warminster residents and came to be known as the Warminster Thing. The incidents continued. Witnesses stated that the sound, quote, killed pigeons in flight, peppered dormice with holes, and stunned animals, partridges, and pheasants. Some people even said that they were knocked down by the strange force of the sound. Soon after the multiple occurrences of the sound, reports of UFO sightings began in the small English town. It has been over 50 years since the first Christmas Day occurrence of the Warminster Thing, but these strange events still take place in Warminster, England, to this day.
Wow. Okay then. Was it one to like murder?
Strange
anything?
case of Matilda Rooney. On Christmas Eve, an elderly couple named Patrick and Matilda Rooney asked their live-in farmhand John Larson to join them to celebrate the Christmas season with a couple of drinks. After imbibing and sharing a pleasant chat with the older couple, farmhand John Larson retires to his room on the second floor to bed down for the night. When Larson awakes the next morning, what he finds downstairs chills him to the core. His employer, Patrick Rooney, is lying lifeless on the floor, apparently dead from smoke inhalation. Alarmed and fearful that the house might be on fire, John Larson searches the residence, but he can find no evidence of a fire anywhere inside. However, the case becomes even more bizarre when Larson searches the house's kitchen. There he finds Matilda Rooney's charred, severed foot.
Oh my gosh.
And lying on a scorch mark on the kitchen floor, 7 feet wide. None of the rest of the kitchen shows any signs of fire damage whatsoever. It was as if Matilda had simply burst into flames sometime during the night. Flames so hot that they had reached a temperature of over 1,400 degrees Celsius. And
oh my
Matilda's
gosh!
Body to ash. Yet the same fire hadn't burned anything else in the house and had only scorched the floor beneath Matilda's body.
That's crazy.
Horrifying murder, Tracy Mertens. On December 23rd, 1994, Tracy Mertens answered the door of her home in Birmingham, England. She was attacked, blindfolded, and dragged from her home by two men. They stuffed her into the trunk of a yellow Ford Escort and sped away. The men drove Tracy 70 miles to Eton Christ Church, where they then forced her from the car. On the steps of the Eton Church, the two men doused Tracy with gasoline and set her on fire. Suffering burns over 95% of her body, Tracy died in the hospital in the early hours of Christmas Eve. Police offered a reward of £30,000 for any information leading to the arrest of the two men responsible. However, no one ever came forward. It has now been over 20 years since Tracy's
boggles my mind.
Abduction and death, but the two men who killed her have never been found.
I don't know how long ago that was, but I might be dead now, but still. Alright, we'll watch this all night after I go to the bathroom. I've been holding in for like the past like 4 videos. Midnight. Here. Ugh. Say hi to Midnight. Oh, there you go, Midnight. Ooh. Ow! Foot. Foot. Okay, still on. All right. Ugh.
5 real-life heroes.
Alright.
Dog saves her puppies. Firefighters in Mula, Turkey received a report of 8 puppies stuck in a water drainage canal near a local beach. The puppies would soon be drowned by the rising seawater in the drainage canal. But when firefighters attempt to rescue the pups, they run into a problem. Even though they can open up the drainage canal, none of them are small enough to crawl inside to retrieve the trapped puppies. One firefighter then spots the mother dog, watching them closely from a nearby building. He whistles to call her over. The mother dog springs into action, crawling into the small drainage canal and retrieving her puppies one by one. Passerby look on and applaud her each time she retrieves one of the trapped puppies. One onlooker simply said about the incident, "This is what motherhood is."
Yeah, I believe that.
Gorilla cage. Everyone knows the tragic story of Harambe and the boy who fell into the gorilla cage at the Cincinnati Zoo. However, not as many people know about the similar, yet inspiringly heroic tale of a gorilla named Binti at the Chicago Zoo. The 3-year-old boy fell 20 feet into the gorilla cage at the Brookfield Zoo.
20 feet?!
The gorillas immediately began running toward the unconscious fallen child. The zoo officials opened up high-powered water hoses to scare the gorillas off. However, an 8-year-old lowland gorilla named Binti ran to the boy's rescue. Binti protected the small boy from the other gorillas. She then carefully picked up the unconscious boy and carried him over to a staff access door. Binti gently handed the injured boy over to zoo workers. The 3-year-old boy made a full recovery from his injuries from the fall. As for Binti, she is still healthy and has given birth to several babies of her own. Binti still lives in Chicago's Brookfield Zoo gorilla exhibit. Russian ice rescue. In the Russian seaport of Magadan, a dog somehow gets separated from its pack and ends up floating on a chunk of ice. As authorities on shore call for an ice rescue, the dog is slowly dying of exposure due to the frigid cold and wind. If the ice rescue team doesn't get there in time, the dog will surely die.
Don't say that.
A Russian ship decides that he can't watch the dog suffer any longer. Risking his own life, He dives into the freezing water and swims toward the helpless animal. Thanks to the fisherman's heroic efforts, the dog is returned safely to his waiting friends on shore.
Aww.
Fox hunt rescue. So as a
Your
quick
puppies.
explanation, the most common type of fox hunting involves allowing a pack of foxhounds to chase down a terrified fox and then rip it to shreds. Due to the obvious cruelty and barbaric nature of the sport, this kind of fox hunting with hounds has been outlawed in England. However, that doesn't stop many rogue fox hunting groups from continuing the practice anyway. There are groups of people who call themselves hunt monitors. These people sometimes follow and film fox hunters to make sure that they are not violating the law and carrying on this cruel sport. In this incident, a group of fox hunters were illegally using foxhounds to chase and attack a frightened fox. One of the so-called hunt monitors not only documents the violation, but she just can't stand idly by while the poor fox is torn to shreds by the bloodthirsty pack of hounds. Putting herself at great risk, the woman jumps into the middle of the attacking dogs and snatches the fox into her arms, saving it from certain death. In the video, the hunters can be heard yelling at her, and one can be seen following after her as she flees with the fox. The woman jumps into a car, and the fox is sped away to safety. Thanks to the woman's heroic efforts, this fox has now been placed into a protected refuge where it will never be at risk of another fox hunt.
Wow. Because the people just don't listen to the laws.
Grateful dog saved from drowning. In a Romanian river, 3 men happen upon a dog that's trapped in a rapidly flowing river. The dog is petrified and can be heard yelping loudly in fear for its life.
Aww. Poor puppies.
One of the men takes off his shoes and socks and jumps into the freezing river. He drags the dog to the shore and safety. The dog's response is amazing. He runs back and forth along the bank,
So happy.
wagging his tail in pure jubilation at having been saved. He playfully jumps on the men who saved him in utter joy, as if to say thank you.
And that was gonna be like, that's my puppy now.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe to the channel and all.
That would be my puppy.
Abandoned places. 5 scariest urban exploration videos.
No intro or anything. Like, what the heck is that?
Attack in an abandoned house. 3 teens are exploring an abandoned house where they find the walls covered in strange satanic symbols and graffiti. They smell something horrible.
What is this, Supernatural episode?
So against their better judgment, they head further down into
Hey.
the cellar to investigate.
Hey.
There they find dolls hanging from the
What are you
ceiling,
doing?
tied by nooses around their necks. The smell in the basement is so pungent that one of the young urban explorers actually vomits from the stench.
Ew.
Guys, we need to go. I puke.
Ew.
Then suddenly, this happens.
The heck was that? Sorry, was there something down there with them, like some or someone?
Oh, please help me. Okay, you gotta go. The door's locked. Get open! There's scratches. Go, 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 go. What's happening? Get off! What's going on? Hang on. What's John? What? Dude. Okay. Did you hear that? Oh my god. Oh shit.
Oh my gosh.
Who is it? Who is it? John. Go! Where are we?
Why would you run into random?
In the video, you can hear that one of the boys is left behind in the house. You can hear him screaming, "Get off me!" to some unknown assailant.
What's happening? What's going on? Hang on. What's... John?
The boy did escape the house, but refused to talk about what had happened to him inside.
John. John. Leave me alone. Dude, shut the camera off!
So, what do you think happened?
Oh no.
Below.
Oh, that's a terrifying thought of what could have possibly happened to him, to where he would not want to talk about it.
A man and his young son are exploring an old abandoned house that had
I don't understand why people do this for fun, man.
During the Civil War, killing many of the residents inside. The two explorers start hearing strange noises.
And why do they always do it at night? That's what I don't get.
Then they hear a whisper that almost sounds like someone saying, "Pray for me."
You hear that? You hear that?
They decide that they've
Yeah, they kind of sound like it, I guess.
attempt to flee the house, but something is standing in their way.
No thanks.
So is this a ghost caught on tape, or just an elaborate fake? Let me know what you think in the comments.
No thanks. You guys can, but no thanks.
Bloody building. Some young urban explorers are checking out
No.
an abandoned industrial
Ew.
building, and what they find inside is truly disturbing. Not
That's a
only
lot
is
of...
there blood and gore everywhere, but there actually appear to be
Oh
spots where a body might
my
have been dragged
gosh.
across the ground. One of the explorers even finds a bullet lying in the splatter. There has been much speculation on the internet that this scene might have been faked by the young explorers. So, what do you think?
I don't know.
Thing in an abandoned house. Two boys are exploring an old abandoned house when this happens.
This is during the day.
Holy shit! Dude! Oh my... Go! Go! I could've sworn I saw a person.
Notice that whomever or whatever the dark figure is seems to pay no attention to the boys and just continues walking. What makes this video particularly realistic is that the boy who spots the dark figure runs from the house screaming, "There's a person in the house." But his friend can be heard following after him saying, "No, there's not. What are you talking about?"
Roof is all fucked up. Holy shit! Dude! Oh my... Go! Go! I could've sworn I saw a person. Dude, there's a person. Holy... Yeah, there is. Nick, I'm not...
So if the video is fake, at least one of the two doesn't seem to be in on the joke.
Yeah,
What do you think down below?
that one wasn't bad. It was just like a regular
This
thing.
next video by YouTuber Dan Bell shows a very realistic example of what can go wrong when exploring old abandoned buildings late at night. Especially when you're exploring in a bad neighborhood. In the video, Dan is exploring an abandoned 1920s apartment building. He climbs the decaying stairs to find a bag that has been left there recently. Looking inside, you find some food and what appears to be a large plastic container full of crack.
Okay then. Do you just turn off your flashlight?
Just then, he hears someone enter the building, and Dan runs to hide. We can hear Dan quietly pleading that the men don't find him, as we hear their loud, angry voices coming closer and closer.
No, I'm not like I'm there with him. I'm just... So do they leave?
Dan hears the door slam and uses the opportunity to flee the house in certain danger. Now, Dan Bell is one of the most popular urban explorers on YouTube, and the video seems very realistic. But, as with all things YouTube, some people have claimed that the whole video is an elaborate fake. So, what do you think? Did Dan Bell accidentally find himself in the middle of a crack dealer's stash house? Or was the whole video a fake? You decide, and let me know what you think in the comments.
I'm very terrible at judging things, but
if you enjoyed the video,
I would say that was real.
And be sure to let me know what you thought about any.
That is cool! So apparently if you ever say like the video, this lights up. Neat! Midnights, you better keep your clothes out of my shoulder. Where are we on next? There we go. 5 YouTubers who caught ghosts. Okay, bro. In videos.
Top 5 YouTubers who caught ghosts in videos. Exploring with Josh. YouTube channel Exploring with Josh is based around exploring creepy abandoned buildings, including some locations that are allegedly haunted. So maybe it should come as no surprise that occasionally Josh and his crew do happen upon a strange encounter in one of these structures. While exploring an abandoned school building that's covered in graffiti, including pentagrams and other strange satanic writings,
of course there is.
This is something they can't explain.
Guys.
Oh my gosh. Why was sure.
I know, it really does.
Hang on, what was that?
It really does.
Oh, never mind. It was already there.
Oh my fucking god. Did you get that on tape? That is insane. Oh my god, no, door just closed. Oh my god. We gotta get the fuck out of here. Holy shit, we're just standing there.
Well, that's not a very good thing if you're going to be saying one of those.
We're getting back to some dangerous shit, guys.
Why do you keep going?
After this encounter, Josh and his fellow explorers decide to leave the abandoned school. Angry and scared Grandpa. The YouTube channel Angry Grandpa is a scripted series that features a guy recording the rage-fueled ramblings and adventures of his grumpy granddad. But in one of their videos, something very unscripted appears in the video. Now just watch the trash can behind Angry Grandpa.
They're going to your house because you had another stroke.
It appears that someone or something
heck no!
with a very small head is peering at them from behind the trash can. Then it disappears from sight. The head seems too small to be that of a child. Now, what makes this clip especially believable is that the strange figure lurking in the background is not mentioned in the video at all. Joe Weller's mental asylum.
That was...
YouTuber Joe Weller decided to film a YouTube video inside an abandoned mental hospital as a joke. But things get a bit more serious when they suddenly start hearing the taunting screams of a child from somewhere inside the building. However,
is this any medals from freaking Phasmophobia?
Take the noises too seriously. They joke
You
that
idiots.
it's probably just some kids who've wandered into the building.
Cheers. Easy. Hello? What was that? Kids. What do we do here? Calix and Gundigan. Wait. Who's that?
But the noises intensify.
Pretty alright. Wait, what is that?
We're gonna get you. What's up with that? Come on. Take your trousers down.
Who's having the banter? Well, this is funny. Wait, imagine if it isn't even like, right, what we do? So what will you do? What is it? I beg you don't throw anything right now because we're just coming out. Hello? Is there anyone there? There's no one there. How did they run away so quick? Hello?
Joe and his friend take the situation a bit more seriously when they find that there's no one else inside or around the building.
The thing that I don't get is it genuinely sounded like someone was banging on the door. You know that door that you shut at the entrance? Yeah. You know when we first came in, it sounded like someone was banging on that. 20 seconds after the last rock was thrown, we leave the building and there's no one to be seen.
I don't hear anything, yeah.
Like even now, like if it's kids, you would at least hear them like laughing or something. Still, why is there no one here now? Like look at the escape route. Just film the escape route.
You have to come through here and through that gap in the fence. Like you can't do it without making any noise. And we didn't hear any exit.
You didn't hear anything.
Yeah, I would definitely take that a little bit more seriously after.
YouTuber Guava Juice has often claimed that his house
Guava
is haunted
Juice.
by the spirit of one of the previous owners. In one video, he captures some strange knocking that seems to be coming from his attic.
Who's there?
It's definitely coming from up here. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Oh.
You just get.
I can't do this.
But he just can't bring himself to check out the dark attic by himself. He sets down the camera and 2 minutes later, a strange reflection appears in the patio windows. And then the patio doors seem to slide open and closed all by themselves.
Okay then. No thanks. That is something I want to deal with. We have our own Casper anyways. Not here at our house, but at the gas station where I work. Keep the door closed, you're letting all the cold out. Or in, depending on the season.
Joe Weller's mental asylum revisited. So you saw YouTuber Joe Weller and his friend checking out an abandoned mental asylum in the video at number 3. Well, after Joe Weller's video went viral, the YouTube channel VJama decided to check out the abandoned building for themselves. After checking to make sure the building is empty, they place flour on the floor. So if any kids or anyone else enters the building while they're inside, they'll know. No one else enters the building, but they do have a strange encounter when they find that a hospital meal cart has been rolled to block a doorway while they are inside.
Well, that's a fun thought.
We heard a bang. I think that's the kids though. Not gonna lie. Huh? What? Oh! Shit! Oh, sorry guys, what the fuck was that? The is it? The fuck? Nobody's fucking here. Wait. Let's check the flat. Wait, check the floor. Yo, you man, check the floor. Nobody's fucking here. I don't get this. Look at the fucking floor. Oh my fucking god. Nobody stood over here because it... I'm fucking done now, guys. Somebody's in the building. No. It's not some floor. Check the basement. Yo.
Don't go alone!
It's someone in it. Guys, I'm not even fucking joking anymore now. Hey, you might big college shit. Wait.
Number one mistake. Never go. It's gone.
What the fuck? I'm dipping out. I can't be asked this. I'm going. I can't be asked this.
you mean they're fucking cool, bro? They're so fucking weird.
Yo, go pursue this. Fuck. It's fucked up, man. Oh my fuck. I was mental, bro. Fuck.
Now, in this top 5, I'm giving you the information as it was reported by the filmers. It's up to you to decide if it's real or fake. So you tell me what you think of each of these YouTubers' videos down in the comments. Which seemed real, which seemed fake, and why does it seem real, or why does it seem fake? Let everyone know your thoughts down in the comments.
I'm not even sure. This one, I don't know. Truthfully, I don't know for any of them. Interesting. Interesting.
5 creepiest Google Earth images. Ghosts on Google. Stewart Hotel in Liverpool, England is said to have been the site of paranormal sightings and events for over 100 years, including unexplained rattling, rumbling, and knocks on the walls. But the Google Street View car caught something truly frightening when it passed by the A casual observer on Google Maps happened to notice something peeking out of an
no! Stop zooming in on him!
Now, is this some strange ghastly ghoul, or did the Stewart Hotel owners somehow know that the Google streetcar was coming by and simply fake the whole thing? You decide and let me know what you think down in the comments. Kidnapping caught on Google Maps.
Oh
Now,
no.
since Google Maps image surfaced in 2012, many observers on the internet believe that the image showed a woman being kidnapped from her home in Sao Paulo, Brazil. In the photo, it looks like she's about to be stuffed into the open trunk of a waiting car. The kidnap theory was partially fueled by the fact that kidnappings are very common in Brazil, and in Sao Paulo in particular. However, none of the legions of internet investigators could find any information about the photo or what happened to the woman. Now, if we put on our own internet detective cap and look at a Google Maps picture from a year later, we can see that a car that looks very similar to the one in the picture is again parked on the same street. This would seem to indicate that the car belongs to a resident of one of the nearby buildings. Now, while it's possible that the woman could have been kidnapped by a neighbor, it seems unlikely. And even though the bald man in the photo seems to be treating the woman very roughly at first glance, if you take a close look, she still hasn't bothered to drop her cigarette. So, just like everyone else, I personally don't know what to think on this one. Let me know what you think is happening in this photo down in the comments.
That's definitely a weird thing.
On Google Maps. A 14-year-old boy in Holland reported to police that he had been violently knocked from his bicycle by 2 young men who then stole the bike, his cell phone, and his wallet. Police investigated the crime, but had no real leads to follow up on. That is, until 6 months later when the boy happened to be looking around Google Maps Street View and actually found pictures of himself riding his bike down a nearby street. The Google Street View car had actually taken a picture right before the crime occurred. Sure enough, the 2 young men who had stolen the boy's bike could be seen following right behind him. The boy contacted local police, who then contacted Google and received an unblurred copy of the photo. Police immediately recognized the 2 men as twin brothers who had been jailed for previous thefts in the neighborhood. The 2 were arrested for aggravated assault and robbery. Town of Dolls. In Japan, there is a small remote village named Nagoro, which is populated almost entirely by dolls.
Why?
It had a population of hundreds of people, but as each person died or moved away, local doll maker Ayano Tsukimi took on the task of replacing each missing villager with a doll in their likeness.
Why?
These days, the town of Nagoro is almost deserted, except for hundreds of dolls that fill the buildings and line the street. By using Google Maps Street View feature, you can actually take a tour through the doll-lined streets of the isolated village of Nagoro and see all of its creepy little stuffed inhabitants.
Well, thanks.
76. UVB 76 is a very bizarre shortwave radio station that has been broadcasting for over 44 years. The odd station
Wow.
simply emits a sequence of buzzes, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. For almost 25 years of UVB 76 existence, that's pretty much all the strange shortwave station did. Buzz repeatedly in an odd rhythm. Then in 1997, someone suddenly spoke.
УЗБ-76. УЗБ-76. 93 882.
It was a man's voice speaking in Russian. He repeated a strange series of names and numbers that no one could decipher. Were the names and numbers a test signal? Were they code? Or something more sinister? After the brief creepy voice message, the UVB 76 station went quiet. Then it returned to its repeating series of peculiar buzzes. However, now shortwave radio enthusiasts and investigators were able to triangulate the signal's location. In later years, the UVB 76 signal was traced down to a location on Google Maps. It was coming from a small communications building in a remote area in Russia. Over the next 20 years, UVB 76 continued to broadcast its strange patterns of buzzes, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. On rare occasions, the buzzes would be interrupted by the mysterious Russian, always repeating a series of seemingly random names and numbers. To this day, over 44 years later, UVB 76 still broadcasts on shortwave radio. Although there have been many wild theories, no one has ever been able to figure out the purpose or meaning of the UVB 76 broadcast.
Interesting. Well, I think that'll do it for this stream. If you guys enjoy, make sure to follow if you guys are new. And if you're watching this, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.